Happy Saturday, everybody, and thanks for joining me. You know what today's one a day's called? Raising kids without drugs. Now that's a heck of a concept, eh? Raising kids without drugs. I mean, come on. We've got drugs and chemicals in our water, in our air, in our food, and then we even apply drugs into our children intentionally. So go figure. So the whole thing is this, that our whole belief system is drugs, drugs, drugs. And we have became so comfortable at being druggies. Look, you find me someone in your family that doesn't participate in drugs on some level, and that's like trying to find a unicorn. Did you know that 130 years ago, we didn't have drugs? Did you know 130 years ago, we totally embraced Mother Nature? Did you know that? Did you know that 130 years ago there wasn't any cancers? Did you know 130 years ago there wasn't any autoimmune diseases, and there's only like 135 of them? Did you know that 80% of the population is overweight, 60% of the population is obese now? Did you know that 1 out of every 2 people will get cancer? And did you know that the survival rate is only 2.2 to 2.3%? Okay, when you're talking about the medical system. Did you know that our whole health system, which we call healthcare, is based on being a druggie? Did you know that the people that we have picked to be our healthcare professionals are the biggest drug dealers in the world? Did you know that 50% of all the drugs that are taken, prescription drugs that are taken in the world, are taken by the North American population? All right. So raising kids without drugs. How are we going to do that when the parents are druggies? How are we going to do that when the parents have so many addictions? And here's the problem. Like I was saying, prescription drugs and chemical drugs didn't exist 130 years ago. And people, you know what they did? They had gardens and herbal gardens in their home and in their backyard. Okay? So we are no longer part of nature. We're not natural anymore, but it's natural to be a druggie. Now here's the problem that we're really facing today. Are you ready? What do you think it is? We have been programmed that our greatest healing mechanism in the human body is a terrorist, is an enemy. That's your pain. Pain is your GPS. If I think about it right now, I have a little pain in my neck here. Well, I know because I have a knot and I need somebody to work on this for me. When you think about where you have discomfort, whether it's pain in your abdomen or your big toe or your nose or your head, or feels like it's around your heart area, or you've got a breathing problem, all of these things are your body saying, I love you. Do you love me? And understand something. This generation of children right now believe that pain is a total enemy. So they're only going to be drug addicts. Believe it or not, you may think I'm wrong, but to program our children that chemical toxic drugs are our friend, why would that be any different than the drugs on the street? And the more dysfunctional beliefs that your children have, which we know all children have dysfunctional beliefs because most parents are wrestling with themselves all the time, because until you honor, respect, and protect the human body, your body, which is your vehicle for your spirit, you'll always be at war. And as long as you're at war and you don't understand that pain is a friend, it will be a foe. So you will be either eating to suppress it, toking to suppress it, taking anti-inflammatories or antidepressants, anything to numb out the pain, but that stifles the spirit. And when you stifle the spirit, you become a zombie. You create physical blocks in the human body. I really believe that we're in trouble. Today's children that are around the age of 12 and 13 are presumed that they will live 15 to 20 years less than their parents today. And their parents today are dying earlier now too. So we see where we're going, and corporations don't care. Look, I know you love your child. I know you couldn't love your child more, but you're loving your child with dysfunctional belief systems. Go figure. And this is why you don't feel like a good parent. You can't feel like a good parent, even though you love your child 100% and you're working off of dysfunctional beliefs. But guess what? Everybody got the same dysfunctional, deceptive manual called health. And we got that from the medical system, from our government, and from corporations that see us as a venture, a bottom line. So understand something. Until you understand that when you feel a little bit of pain, that you need to work with that body, those 50 trillion cells, those 500 trillion bacteria that are in your large intestine, your life will be hell. Your child's life will be hell. So, but here's where the problem is. You're so conditioned, you're so programmed. Mommy, I have a fever. So what would happen if your child said to you, I have a fever? Would you let it ride out? Would you get a cool pack? Would you put the child on non-inflammatory products, maybe some lemon, a little bit of honey, some warm water? Or are you going to reach for the kid's Tylenol, which is a drug, which is a poison, that's telling the body to shut up? Now, I'm not trying to tell you that you should let a fever go to an emergency state. But understand something. 99.9% of all the kids that are being drugged when they have a fever, they're being drugged by their drug-dealing mother and father that were programmed by the system. When we didn't even allow nature to fight the fever so that the child could build up antibodies and an immune system. No, you had to go and kill the fever. Where's the lesson for the body to grow stronger? And then you wonder why your child gets sick all the time when you keep killing the fever, which builds the immune system. And every time you kill the fever, you're destroying part of the immune system. I'm not blaming this on you. I'm just telling you that that's the rules. You know, you learn to play the game or you lose the game. But we're talking about your children here. We're talking about teaching your children to embrace any pain and suffering they have. Don't run away from it on an emotional, physical level. And definitely don't drug yourself like mommy and daddy with their alcohol, the wine, the glass of wine every night, just so you can sit with yourself or your husband because you're both dysfunctional, or to have your 2 beers, or to have that toke every night because I use it to unwind. Where can we grow but only consciously? And if we don't grow consciously, we don't grow at all. We actually grow stagnant and then we putrefy. And that's on an emotional and physical level. So now your child says to you, God love your children, eh? Mommy, my tummy aches. What are you going to do? Are you going to take a look at the food you fed your child the day before? Are you going to ask your child if they had a really good bowel movement? Or are you going to try to give your child something that is going to get rid of the tummy ache, but not get to the problem, not get to the source? Understand something. The whole medical system was created for you not to get to the source. They want to be your source, and they want to source you out until there's nothing left. Now you're going to say, that's not very nice, Daryl. That's not true. Well, you know what? Not with emergency care. God loved the medical system. My daughter wouldn't be alive, and so would a lot of other people. But medical care is only 2%, maybe 5% at the most of all the care. The other 95% is all just chronic stuff that they're getting their hands into that they should never do because they're creating the emergency. So, mommy, I have a tummy ache. Did you at least try to give your child an enema? Did you get your child on daily cleansing tea? Did you get your child on tummy love? No, you're not trying to build up the good bacteria. I guarantee you're going to put them on maybe antibiotics and kill the good bacteria, which is the immune system, and then wonder why your child now has allergies and asthma. Isn't that fantastic? So whether you want to believe this or not, when you kill the pain, you're killing the body. When you kill the pain, you're killing the body. But then there's times when I've had a migraine. I used to get them. I don't anymore. But when I was younger, I had a migraine. If I didn't take a migraine tablet, I couldn't focus. But the reality is, for years, I took a migraine tablet because I needed to push through. Push through the pain, Daryl. And I was a practitioner, so I'm not going to blame you. I'm a practitioner, and I'm taking migraine tablets. Go figure. Instead of figuring out that I stress the hell out of myself and terrorize myself, and then I don't drink any water because I'm terrorized and I'm freaked out. And I don't even think about that, but I take the drug to numb myself out. Maybe I can't handle myself. Maybe I've got dysfunctional emotions about myself that I'm unworthy, which I was. And then what does your mother do? Because she loves you so much and because she's so highly programmed, if you're good, honey, mommy will give you a treat. And that treat is usually going to be refined flour or sugar, or it's going to be some GMO packaged product that's going to cause more toxicity in your child. How am I doing? I'm telling you the God's truth here. You're so far off of knowing what the body really needs, okay, that we're totally programmed. How about this one? Honey, how about a treat? Think about all the treats you give your kids or the treats that were given you. Which ones were healthy? Sweetie, how about a treat? Oh, and then there's the kiddie menu, isn't there? That is so adulterated with GMOs, sugar, rancid oils, flour, dyes, chemicals. And what about the drug residue from all that factory farming that's in there, okay? So don't ask yourself why your kids are moody. Don't ask yourself why they're bouncing off the walls, why they can't focus in school. Don't ask yourself, why don't you pay attention to me, Johnny? What is it with you? Come on, get out of bed. Why can't you sleep? Get back in bed. You know what? We poison our children and then we get upset with them. Where's the balance? Where's the balance? And how about that fluoride in their toothpaste that you're putting in their mouth that's calcifying their pineal gland? And did you know that when you calcify their pineal gland with the fluoride that's in the toothpaste and the fluoride they get from the dentist when they go to the dentist, when the pineal gland gets calcified, you're dumbing your children down. Did you know that? I hope you do now. I hope you know that that's pineal gland is to higher consciousness. And if you don't believe in higher consciousness and you don't believe in spirit, then you don't know who you are. The human body is all spirit. There are 1 octillion particles making up this body, and none of those particles are even sticking together. They're vibrating together, but you still can't put your hand through me, can you? Everything's an illusion. And that's science. And then we know that 99.999999996% of you is empty space in those particles. So everything is a vibration. So you just keep going ahead. And guess what? Did you know that every drug, if you look at 0 to 100, and 100 would be essential oils, let's say, because they vibrate so high. 100 would be like Life Crystal, our Life Crystal products. Our Fulvic would be up at 80, okay? 0 would be meat. It doesn't vibrate. Drugs all vibrate below 0. So that brings the vibration down in the cells, which brings and numbs your spirit down. Oh, I just don't feel like myself. Well, of course, you're not yourself. You understand something. Every negative belief, whether you believe you know it or not, has to be fed. So if you're not going to wean out the negative beliefs on how to feed your children and look after your children, those beliefs get stronger until those beliefs are taken on by your children. And then they'll just keep poisoning themselves without even knowing it because it's just a bloody program. And then what about the blue light the kids are getting from the TVs, from the computer screens, from the telephone that you gave them and they're only 12 years old that they go to bed with and they sleep beside it. And then all this 5G, 3G is bombarding them all night and you're wondering why they have headaches and their nervous system is blown out and they're only 12 years old. What about the 5G that's in schools? And they know that 5G in schools is going to cause more children to go on more drugs than anything else that they've ever done before. And your kid can't focus anymore. And what about the Xbox? What about all this blue light? And you know what blue light does? Blue light destroys the endocannabinoid system that helps to create the stem cells in your bone marrow. So now you've just knocked out their immune system. So if you're going to give your kid an Xbox and have them on blue light all the time, then you better get them some Tesla glasses, but you won't do that because they're like $400. And then you're going to wonder why everybody's getting cataracts, glaucoma. Cataracts, you know what cataracts are caused by? Because the blue light is actually inflaming the brain so the cataracts grow. Did you know that children today are actually starting to get cataracts? That's right, blue light poisoning. So, these are all drugs. That is a drug. And what about this? Did you know that prescription pills, illegal street drugs, and psychotropic smart drugs are at an all-time high with kids and young adults today? Where are the parents? We know that the suicide rate of young children, teenagers I should say, teenagers and young adults has tripled in the last few years. And you don't know why? Well, because of all this access of all this drugs. And like I said, blue light's a drug, 5G is a drug. The chemicals in the foods are a drug. The prescriptions are a drug. 80% of high school kids are smoking or vaping or toking or doing all of that. Take a look at the parents and you can find out why the kids are like this. But it's not just the parents, it's society. Society doesn't care. It's all throwaway now. You don't understand that there's an elite group that control everything. They own all the media. They own the corporations. And guess what? We're the herd. You follow the herd, you're going to get hurt. Look at this. Children are reporting symptoms of what? Lack of energy. Are you kidding me? I remember when I was a kid, I had so much energy all the time, except when I was fed sugar, then I was bouncing off the walls. But I also can remember that when I was a kid, I used to bang my head when I'd go to bed every night on my pillow because I was so stressed out. But, so they got lack of energy, inability to focus, digestive issues, like that's not, but guess what? Do mothers ask what their kids' bowel movements are like? Does the mother even know food combining? Does the mother know the difference between dead food and whole plant-based food? Does she know the difference between structured water and just water? And are the kids even drinking water? Does she know that she can get her kids to drink so much more water by just putting a little bit of super cinnamon in or lemon lift or orange burst in the water? Does she understand that her kids are now become the filter of all the poisons in the world, breathing it in, drinking it in, eating it in, taking it in? Does she understand that she's poisoning her children if she gives them drugs? Did she forget that the human body heals itself? I think so. And did you know this? Children are having a big trouble in recovering from just fevers and flus and colds. And when they get sicknesses now, because their immune systems have been bumped out. And guess what? Did you know that the population that is having more seizures and strokes than any other population in the last 5 to 10 years? Young children. Okay, kids are getting migraines, allergies. Did you know that young children are getting fatty livers now? Fatty livers from all the sugar and the flour, the rancid oils. This is where it's coming from. And then guess what? What about the increased diabetes? Children of 12 and 13 years old are getting diabetes. Why? They're getting it from dairy, scary dairy. You know, when I was 31 years old, I wrote an article called Scary Dairy. And then the Ontario Dairy Board, where I lived in Canada, actually tried to sue me for $250,000. They never got a nickel out of me. And I'm going to tell you something. When you breastfeed your children, and then when you stop breastfeeding them, the enzyme that breaks down milk, it's not made anymore. And then you go put them on dairy, go ahead. The protein actually that's in the dairy, okay, is a toxin to the body. The body creates an antigen, and because the pancreas has the same type of protein in the pancreas, the antigen goes in and attacks the protein in the pancreas and causes the diabetes. Now you've got a diabetic child. We're just not waking up here. Increased PTSD. Come on, children getting PTSD. They're being bombarded because the younger the child, they're in a growth phase. Their brain is just developing. Their nervous system is just developing. It's not like the cement has dried yet. How did we get to this point? And how can we raise our kids to thrive without using drugs? Think about it. Go into your bathroom right now. Take a look at what the drugs you give your kid. Cough syrup. I mean, come on. Are we kidding here? Okay. Aspirin. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to give kids now. And remember something, it's the same drugs that we take, it's just a less dosage. Look at, society has set the bar so low for what it means to be healthy. Did you know that every few years the medical system brings the bar down on what a healthy child is? Okay? I've really learned to embrace nature, and I'm telling you, I can run circles around anybody in my staff. And they're in their 20s and 30s, all right? But understand something, kids are sicker than ever. And most parents don't even know where to start when it comes to the treatment options. Look at, Why am I building the library, the Doc of Detox library? Why do I tell people to go to the perfect day? Because in the perfect day, if you could learn how to create the perfect day for your family, then you create the perfect health. Why do I have the Braveheart 12 Loving Steps and I give it away for free? I give the whole course away from free because people aren't worth anything. How much are you truly worth? I'll tell you what you're worth. You're worth only the amount of love that you provide for yourself. If you are expecting the world to love you, if you are expecting your family, your children, your wife, your husband, your friends to fill up your heart, that's how much love you have for yourself. Almost zero. Most people love themselves around 2% to 8%, which means if it's only 2%, you only have a 98% chance of truly having a beautiful day. And if you teach your children that they cannot love themselves totally, and if you don't allow your children to forgive themselves totally, and if you don't forgive your children for what they do and you punish them, they will be in pain emotionally and physically. And then they will go to drugs. The more unworthy that we feel, the more drugs we do, the crappier we eat. There are underlying reasons for children's symptoms, trust me. And only the parent is going to figure that out because doctors will not take the time to. They'll just say, oh, you got this, I'll write you this. I'll do this, I got this. And 99% of the doctors aren't testing or asking the right questions. And understand, it's not genetics, it's habits. And those habits that they have, they got from you. So take a look at your own life, and then you can take a look at their life. Take a look at the pain you're in, and then take a look at the pain they're in, and you'll see it kind of matches. Because guess what? Those beautiful little spirits, when they come here, they look at you, mommy and daddy, as gods. You could fart every 2 minutes, and they would try to practice farting every 2 minutes. They want to do what you do. They want to say what you say. They want to think what you think. So when they start walking and talking like you, and you disrespect them, and you punish them, that's because you don't like you, and now you don't like them. But you need to learn to love you so that you can love them, so that we don't have to have sick children. You should know your child best, shouldn't you? Or do you really? I guess you've got to know yourself too, wouldn't you? And you can't give what you're not. So if you don't love yourself, you're not going to give a real pure love to your child. It's going to be a judging love, which is a painful love, which can be because of sick thoughts. So a sick mind creates a sick body. If you feel like something isn't right, or that your child shouldn't be on certain prescription drugs, well, if you're not going to stand up for your child, if you're not going to hold the line, who in the hell is going to do it? Do you even ask or look up the symptoms of the drugs? And when a doctor says he wants to do this surgery, this test, I'm going to tell you something. Go and get all the tests you want. I have not been tested in ever. Okay? I don't go to doctors. Okay? I don't go to the hospital. I'm not telling you not to. But I understand one thing. I was created by God Almighty, and I know the more I embrace nature, the more pure my life is, the more pure my mind is, the more pure my thoughts are, the more energy I have. And I also know that energy does not come from eating. Energy comes from you being that what you were created to be, a high spiritual being. High spiritual being. Look, you're not going to ever have a healthy child until you get healthy and that you totally honor, love, and respect yourself. You can't give what you're not. Help your child to reclaim their health without drugs, with these essential tips. And I mean going to my library, look at the 12 Braveheart Loving Steps and watch the video. Go to the perfect day, page 37. Your whole family could eat like that, okay? And then look at trying to fast your children. Start teaching your children that they don't always have to eat. And understand something. Your kids are in pain because every time that they're emotional, they go to eat something. Get them to connect to their breath. Teach them about the lion heart breathing and staying in the moment and just slightly smiling. Help your child retain their God-given right to their spirit. Raising all of God's children without drugs should be all of us, all our greatest goal. We should be working towards this. It's corporations against us. Until the lights come on, you won't realize you were sitting in darkness. Look it. Nobody knows how to be a parent. Nobody's taught how to be a parent. We don't even know how to love ourselves when we become a parent. We don't even know how to feed ourselves correctly when we become a parent. So I understand that. So there's no guilt here. But now you have a choice. You have an option. And understand something. You can call me. You can call my office. You can come on the Q&As. I have a Q&A on Monday. And you can send the Q&A. You can put all your questions here. I'll answer them this Monday. Just type them in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I will answer them. Take a look at our Doc of Detox shows. I'm giving you all the information to take your life back, to help you to really, you know what? How does it feel that you're working so hard and you want so much for your children and then you fail? Well, it's your belief systems. It's not you. You have belief systems that don't work. It's not you. You're working too hard. Okay? When you embrace that bigger, greater part of you, it'll all come together. God bless. And have a beautiful day. And just know this, check out my library, all right? And stay connected to your breath and have a slight smile no matter what happens today, okay? Take care.